last week I went prom dress shopping and found a dress that I really liked. It had intricate prints and African details that showed my heritage. So, when I asked my family about their opinions, they said that it looked beautiful. But the moment the seamstress walked in, her face kind of twisted in disapproval. Just like that, my family's tone changed. They said that the dress was ugly, it was too African, and that I should take it off. Long story short, I ended up not getting the dress. But when I remember looking back at this moment, I just couldn't help but think how ridiculous this sounded. How quickly one person's opinion was able to change my perception and my family's perception in a matter of seconds. But what if I told you that this is not just about a dress? That this is a diluted example of what Black Americans go through in their everyday lives. You see, this hypothetical scenario is an example of the hidden legacies of slavery. A system designed to control, designed to make you hate yourself, and designed to rip you from your heritage. Just like the seamstress changed my opinion, slavery has altered our personal perceptions for hundreds of years. And today, through my TED Talk, I want to talk about how these changes led to marginalization we still face in the Black community, and how being Afrocentric can be the key to liberation from these narratives. Slavery was one of the worst atrocities in human history, but its impact extends beyond the physical brutality that was faced. It was a system deliberately designed to strip Black people of their humanity, their identity, and their power. For instance, enslaved Africans were stripped of their clothes and forced on ships. They were forced to adopt the norms of their oppressors, and they were often whipped to keep submissive. The hate they faced taught them to hate their skin, deemed too dark to bolster, too dark to back, but reinforced the idea that because of their dark skin, they were destined to burn. And the hate they faced embedded the idea of Black inferiority so deeply that they even began to start rejecting their culture too, saw it as primitive and unworthy. In today's society, after slavery, we still see this brainwashing, but it didn't just disappear, it evolved. When I read The Miseducation of the Negro last summer, it reinforced the truths of this statement. It detailed that in the Reconstruction era, a time period after slavery where people were supposed to build themselves up, the Black community did not grow because of ideas of anti-Blackness and internalized racism. For instance, economic mobility was halted because aversion to Black businesses increased due to stereotypes saying that Black people were not qualified to do so. Stereotypes like the angry Black woman or the dangerous Black man then became tools to justify wanting a wider disposition. Admiring a wider disposition, which led to more Black communities seeking out wider institutions. Additionally, the lack of minority success stories in their early days of education led to marginalized groups aligning themselves more and seeing that whiteness was supreme. The impact. The effects of an unsuccessful Reconstruction are still visible in today's society. The U.S. Senate's data from 2019 through 2022 states that Black communities experience higher rates of unemployment and poverty, lower rates of college graduation and home ownership, with even their life expectancy being 3.8 years lower. This data shows that Black communities still lag behind in their development. But perhaps the most insidious effect is how we still perpetuate our own oppression through the way we view ourselves. That we have innovated a new form of oppression that's maintained by us. It's materialized through the way we believe the lies society has told us, the way we shrink to fit into spaces that weren't built for us, and how we sometimes even criticize our own people. I see these type of patterns in modern day society. For example, social media tries to ridicule or mock Black people by mocking African American vernacular English, known as AAVE, calling Black culture ghetto, or perpetuating stereotypes like that people are uncivilized or that they are uneducated. When we hear these negative associations applied to our culture, it makes us want to distance ourselves from them. For example, some people, under the pretense of not wanting to seem ghetto, try to not use AAVE. Additionally, some people try to whiten their skin to get rid of their Blackness, and other people try to change their ethnic features to assume a more Eurocentric beauty standard. But separation from the culture can also look like surrounding yourself with whiter or lighter skinned counterparts to assume a more higher standard in society. It can look like having an internalized bias against the people in your community, and also it can look like laughing at jokes made towards your community that are offensive. But the reason why this is important is because when we separate ourselves from our culture, it can lead to more issues of internal hate. And when this happens, communities are more likely, there can be more communities that see that this anti-Blackness and use it to support less supporting of Black communities. These are the main reasons why I believe reclaiming our cultural markers are key to our liberation. Because racist society has told us that our skin should be demised and has told us that we should separate ourselves from Blackness, it has been a thing that society has tried to control and place over us. Racist society wants to control our perceptions, but we have to not allow it. But being Afrocentric is a necessary response to this type of oppression. The reason why is because being Afrocentric means that being Afrocentric means that you are actively celebrating and supporting descendants of slavery or those who are affected by it. What it looks like is not getting to know someone because of your perpetuating stereotypes, but knowing that your culture should be celebrated and that it's not ghetto, ratchet, or something to be despised. As I said before, it can look like supporting Black businesses, like movements like hashtag Buy Black and the rise of Black businesses are steps we can take to liberate and create more liberation from this type of perspective. Application. But Afrocentricity doesn't just have to be limited to Black minorities. It's a message and a call to action to any marginalized groups. Minorities have been told that because of our skin, that we are a flaw, that our culture, that our identity, and that our heritage is inherently inferior. But that is not the truth. Our culture is not inferior. Our skin is not a flaw. Our identities are not a burden. And just like how I went shopping and I found that the dress didn't fit me, I encourage you to grow upon the stereotypes that society may place upon you and to recognize that true liberation begins to recognize that Blackness is the standard and that society doesn't have to limit us. Thank you.